Hello, welcome to the channel of Initiate Yourself. For those who are new here, my name is Jason, 31 years old, living in the Netherlands. Personal trainer, physiotherapist, used to be a nurse, now also a nutritionist, so a lot of titles. Before we get into this stuff, small introduction as in what we're going to discuss or talk about with this video. It's a sort of a introduction or some way of getting to know me as a trainer. So we take a trip down my memory lane to see where I started with my training career, also with coaching, and where I am now. So to rewind it way back, started around, let's say 16, 15 years old, when somebody took me to the gym, as in perhaps you can try kickboxing and fitness just to get you started with something. So I started with just casually going for kickboxing fitness once or twice a week with the kickboxing, same with the fitness. Did that for about 1-2 years. And then I felt like, well, that's enough for me. Then I did most of my things at home. So I started running the short distances, eventually was able to do 3 times a week with a 10K at a comfortable pace, and combine that with some calisthenics or just bodyweight exercises. And I had some dumbbells laying at home. So just the basic movements. After that, I felt like, you know what, let's go to the gym again and let's do kickboxing. So I went back to kickboxing, was also training with the competitive guys, didn't do any fighting in the ring, but for the level, training level, it was suitable for me. Eventually, I was also done with that. I felt like, you know what, I'll just stick to fitness or regular strength training. I looked a few things up, and of course, the person who took me there first with the first gym gave me some guidelines, but yeah, I was mostly on my own. And it was, of course, before the internet was that much of a thing. This could find a lot of information there. Then, after about a year training there at this gym, I went to one of the bigger commercial gyms to see like, okay, this perhaps a bit better for fitness, and just stuck there. Well, still a bit lost because I was still trying things out. I was 18, 19 years old. So just tried out a lot of things. Also a small thing with calisthenics, but not that big. I mean, my pull-ups sucked back at the time. I could just barely do 3 or something. But I did look Hannibal for King up by then. And I thought like, you know what? It's a big inspiration. For those who don't know, Hannibal for King, one of the first guys in New York who got popular on YouTube with training in the park, great physique. He did like pull-ups, muscle-up dips with ease. And I thought, you know what? I can do muscle-up myself. Well, was I wrong? Like I said, I couldn't just do 3, perhaps 5 sort of okay pull-ups. But you know what? That didn't stop me. I kept going. So at the big commercial gym, tried a few things, had a weird training split, but it worked to get me a bit in shape. And eventually the trainer there was like, you know what? I know another gym that has also some group lessons, perhaps you should go there. And he also, once again, told me about Hannibal for King and the Bar Stars and other calisthenics groups. So we went to the gym, joined the group lessons, so let's say sort of a CrossFit, cross-training style classes, and did it for a few months. And then once again, back to training by myself. I was accompanied by a few other people for a short time. These were a bit older than me, as in 20 years older. So I could learn a thing or two from them. But like I said, it was a short period of time because both went their own ways. And once again, back on my own. But this was really a period of trying a lot of things. Cross-training, as you might know, is like Olympic lifting, calisthenics, running, just everything combined. So I did get fit, but it was just not really there yet. Well, it was also during my bachelor's of nursing study, and at this gym, the gym owner, since there was 2 trainers who left, he saw me and one of the friends training, and I was like, you know what, perhaps you can teach group lessons, 1 or 2 per week, perhaps a bit more. So that's actually where I started my coaching a bit, with just the group lessons. No background in anything, but just looking a lot of things up because Google or internet, YouTube was getting a bit more traction and information that was available for people to find, as in how to train. The nutrition part wasn't there that much yet. So did that for a couple of years, and regards to training, just keep going. Still did the running a bit, and eventually I felt like perhaps I should have a bit more focus on a specific thing. And that's where the calisthenics part came in. So I tried to do handstands, muscle-ups, which I already unlocked actually back in the days, and other aesthetic skills like a planche. The planche just periods of times I trained it, and some periods I didn't. With the handstand, as you can see, it looks like shit. But you know what? I just started out without any guidance. So yeah, what do you expect? So a little bit fast forward, just kept on training with that. And in the meantime, graduated my nurse's study and just kept on training. Then, there's a lot of information, of course. With the calisthenics journey, we just went on, and eventually I also felt like, you know what, I should incorporate a bit more leg training, as in serious leg training, because the intensity for the upper body was there. My physique was also getting better, but like I said, because I was still training on my own, didn't have the right coaching or guidance, so it was just trying things out, what works, what not. It did work to a certain extent. Also, the nutrition part also became more important now, because during the bachelor's study first, I used to drink a lot. I mean, just look at this picture. I was fit, but not that fit, because I was drinking, eating like crap. I felt like, you know what, I'm young, I'm invincible. But if I could talk to my younger self, I would have said like, bro, you can splurge every now and then, but not every weekend or every week. So yeah, it took me about a year or two to actually find out what works in regards to prepping, what foods do I like, and what can I eat so I can still have a decent or well performance, whilst also looking well or with a good physique, but not have to think about it too much. Just be mindful of the eating, but not like obsessed with it. So that's also where I met another person who's still a really good friend of mine. So we trained together for a bit of a longer period of time, and I also learned a thing or two from him. So then we had a bit of a better split, like an upper-lower split, because then once again there was more and more information available regards training. So we trained for about a year together, as in the gym, but then 2020 happened, everything was closed. It was also when I started the weighted calisthenics before the lockdown, but lockdown, so we didn't have access to that. So a lot to the park. And this is also actually when the first injuries started to kick in, because I was training 6 days a week, sometimes even twice, because I had quite some time actually to train. Was it the best thing to do? Perhaps not, but back in the days it was sort of okay. Then a little bit further forward, then the gyms reopened again, closed, reopened again. So I could do some weighted calisthenics. Of course, the skills were still there, because you can do them anywhere, regardless of if there's a gym available or not. You just have a park or inside. I mean, just look at this, could do them. This is just a photo or a video that I can do the handstand push-ups with decent technique. But so eventually we could go back. But then again, like I said, the years passed by, more injuries, because I was still a little bit lost in what actually works. Then eventually still the 6 days a week, then a push-pull leg split, worked for a year, but after one and a half year, felt like, you know what, this is a bit too much. So switched back to a 4-day upper-lower split, added a bit of yoga, added a bit of endurance work, kickboxing, a little bit of running, cycling, and that was for a period of time that really worked well. But eventually it plateaued like big time, because eventually I had to change things up. Still a little bit lost, but we're further in time, and there was still a lot more information available. So I finally found a way that works for me. It's pretty simple. There was a trend with Mike Mentzer, as in less is more, and well, that worked for me, especially when getting older. I just want to say it doesn't have to apply to everyone, but for me it worked. With that being said, so really focus more on the street lifting. Of course, the skills, I still practice them a little bit. I mean, I finally unlocked the planche, handstand push-up, and other various calisthenics skills. So I still got that, but the focus was now mostly on sub-maximal training with weighted pull-ups, weighted dips, eventually weighted muscle-ups, and of course squatting. But then during the preparation, because I was looking to get into competition as in street lifting, I felt like I had to PR every session, because that's the way to progress. Well, was I wrong? One injury after the other, as in overuse injuries, shoulder, elbow, knee, lower back, you name it, almost everything felt like it was falling apart. So was with less is more. Then I went back to doing a lot, and also like a lot of intensity. So then there was another person I met and he was like, bro, what are you doing? You don't need that much. Why should you do a PR every session? What does it say? Eventually I was like, yeah, what does it say actually? It was a really good quote, what I've learned from this person. During training, you train. With a competition, you test. In other words, you do your PRing during the competition, and during training, you sort of PR, but you're not constantly looking to PR the entire time. So, with this approach of training, upper-lower split, doing a lot less volume and more of a serious intensity, and with that, I managed to do my first street lifting competition. I'll show you quick shots of the competition.
So let's see if he got the 15 kgs in him. I hope he learned his lesson from the last reps. I'm not sure if he got informed by the judges, but he seems to be very strong on this. So let's get it done. Yeah. And the coach. Oh, wow.
Yes.
What was
Also
in the Dutch
good.
water again?
Yeah.
King of weighted sleeves and up. Nice. Right.
You have the chance to change your attempt.
Right.
So if Jason fails, basically
Right.
John is able to change his attempt.
Right.
So he doesn't have to push him far.
Right. Got it.
So if he makes this attempt, 12.5 kilo on his total, he's confident. Yes.
Yes.
Really strong, really strong. No doubt about this.
As you can see, got second place. Didn't expect that to happen, but you know, apparently I have some of a genetic potential for it. So I'll just keep at it. So now I'm actually a competitive athlete. So where I'm at now regarding training, less is more. So my volume is pretty low with training, but not too low, of course. And just have a decent structure with an upper-lower split. And of course, some yoga every now and then to get the mobility in, and some running or cycling to keep a bit of conditioning in. With the nutrition part was of course a lot of things to try out, like I mentioned earlier, but over the years it got better. Meal prepping, I did it like for the entire week. Eventually I did it for 2 or 3 days ahead. Time-wise, perfect, and also the meals were a bit more fresh. I also discovered other ways of eating, as in go more locally, go to the local farmer, go to the local market, the local butcher. That really helped with my overall health. And also, because of the training and the right nutrition, the injuries didn't have any or minimal in the past period of time. If you look at the coaching side of things, like I mentioned back in the day, started with the group lessons, stuck to that for quite a time, and eventually started with some personal trainings on the side to my nursing job. In 2020, started my physiotherapy study part-time, and then eventually I decided to quit my nursing job because it wasn't for me. And then I went full-time with group lessons, PTs, and also nutritional coaching. Because with the first gym I worked at, didn't have any credentials, but I felt like, you know what, I do need some credentials. So I got my calisthenics A trainer, or calisthenics trainer A and B, got my practical nutrition level 1 and 2. And I also got now recently my strength programming certification. So I got some credentials going with, of course, quite some experience and some knowledge and experience from my physiotherapy work. Just to summarize it, it's quite a bit of a story. My entire lifting career, just to call it, was a lot of trying things out and just see what works. I'm now 13 years later, and well, it took me at least 10 years to finally figure out like, yeah, this is actually what works. The only downside was, of course, I had some training partners, but they were just for short periods of time, but not like an actual coach. And perhaps there are more people who have a bit of the same situation, and that's where I come in. Now, I also doing the online coaching, also next to the offline coaching and group lessons, but I've struggled with this in the past. So I already did a struggle so that you don't have to struggle, because I got the right knowledge and experience to help you on your lifting career to really get you where you want to be. If it's street lifting, statics or calisthenics in general, or just fitness strength training in general, well, I got your back. Well, with that being said, there's a lot of information, but that's a bit about me. If you like more, of course, I have some links to the socials below, of course, to my website. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe, like to this video. With that being said, of course, I hope to see you soon in the next video, or of course, with coaching.